Ahoy, shipmates! What a grotty day it is out there in the miserable port of Southampton. I mean, look at the weather on Cow's Cam. I thought the weather improved for today. Look at that. Barely see the water. Shocking. Look over at Netley, though. Not so bad. We've got the Frontier tanker now departing, having refilled Arvia. On Itchin Cam, I think we've got some raindrops. Yeah, still got a few raindrops. Some lovely clouds in the distance, though. Very strange weather we're having at the moment. And we have Queen Victoria just passing Mayflower Park. Should be with us in, say, sort of about 5 or 10 minutes or so. Let's have a quick look back on Cruise Cam, because that's working today. So even sunny here for Cruise Cam. Very strange, weathery weather we're having today. In fact, the entire month of August has been useless, and even though we're only 6 days in, July wasn't much better. Let's have Paul. I think we have Paul from Love Cruise. Are you with us, Paul? I think there we go. I think I can hear you. Let's try that again.
Good afternoon.
There we go. Yes.
Do we have the technology, Captain?
Yes. Most of the time.
Excellent.
I blame the weather. I blame all the rain getting into all the gadgets and the wind. And
it is very weathery weather today.
Oh, it's very weathery weather. It's the worst weathery weather. Awful weather. Oh, I am, of course, the captain of the Solent Ships YouTube channel. And we're here today to see 3 cruise ships departing. They are the Queen Victoria, who is already on the move. She's just down here off Mayflower Park. And then we have Norwegian Prima at 5 o'clock, so pretty much now. So it's going to be nose to tail going down Southampton Water. And then 6 o'clock Arvia. So we have Arvia here. She's an ocean terminal. Looks very similar to Iona yesterday. And of course, they are sister ships. And then if I go back to the map, you can see Norwegian Prima. She's here. Oh, yeah, and it looks like she's moving as well. So there's no waiting there from the captain. As soon as the Queen Victoria's gone past, off she goes straight away. I'm going to just get my cameras ready while I'm waffling. Yeah, Cruise Cam's still a bit laggy, but at least it's doing something. How's the weather been with you then, Paul?
Not too bad. I had the fortune or misfortune to be outdoors at Goodwood all week during the week. So some days we saw some sun, and other days we saw rain, a lot of rain.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And you're quite exposed at Goodwood, aren't you, up on the top there?
Yes, yeah, quite blustery as well. So,
what were you watching at Goodwood?
The Glorious Goodwood Racing was on, so I was sort of in another role. I deal with shuttle buses and minibuses and things. So
horses, not cars, then.
Well, sort of, yes, park and ride type things to get to the horses, but yeah, definitely not ship related. No.
So there were probably some very unpleasant weather for the ladies in their lovely dresses.
Yes, Lady Day wasn't fantastic. Yesterday seemed to be the one that was a bit of a washout.
But, yeah, it was awful to yesterday.
Yeah.
So we've got
good fun though.
Excellent, good. We have Queen Victoria should be on screen shortly, and where is she off to? I wonder. She is off to 7 a night for Norwegian fjords, following on the footsteps of Iona. And Iona didn't leave yesterday, and until what time did Iona leave yesterday? I think it was about midnight, almost bang on midnight. I think
I missed that one. Why was she so late?
Well, I think there was forecast very strong winds from Storm Antonio.
That was it.
And I think they decided that they've often do that with Iona. They delay her. In fact, I can show you. This is the rainbow that happened about 8 o'clock in the evening as Storm Antonio was coming over Southampton. We've got some stunning colours, and then we got this lovely rainbow right over Iona. Oh, Arvia. No, Iona. There we go. I thought that was rather nice, that was. And you had some on the different cameras. There were completely different views depending on where you were. It was either a bright black skies or bright skies, and yeah, the winds never came. But I have heard it was quite windy elsewhere.
I did see some stills of that actually on the channel, and I thought, yeah, that looks very nice.
Yeah, it's not. It's. I think. I don't think that's the first. We have had rainbows before. Over one of the cruise ships. Oh, I think it was over the. Might have been over Iona last time. See, we just can see the little funnel popping out there above. Yep, just about coming down. I should tell everyone that Paul is from Love Cruise, and he's our sponsored channel. He's our cruise specialist, particularly specialising in cruises from the port of Southampton. Paul, would that be right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's the one I'm most familiar with. Having done several cruises from Southampton myself, probably something like 19 from Southampton. So, yeah, I've got a little. I've not mentioned it before on here actually. I've got a little Facebook group called Cruising from Southampton, which is sort of hopefully full of little tips and tricks for cruising from Southampton, and I post some offers in there now and again as well. So if you've not cruised from Southampton before, or if you want to share some knowledge that you think might be useful, then by all means pop on there and have a look. You're very welcome.
Excellent. And how will they find that? They just search for...
I'm just looking to make sure I've got the right link.
But
if you go onto Facebook and search Cruising from Southampton, then generally that should take you right there. Just searching. Yeah, it's literally Cruising from Southampton, and there's a aerial view of the port of Southampton as the cover photo, so you'll know you're in the right one then.
There we go, shipmates. If you're interested in something or want to join a group, that sounds like the one to join to. I'll have a quick look at the weather, because what have we got here? Oh, it's a lot less windy than yesterday, gusting around about 10 knots. So very gentle, just watching that sailboat come up the water there. 17 C, humidity 78, visibility 43 nautical miles. Pretty good. I think that sailboat needs to be rather careful. Hang on, what is the tide like? Because that's getting quite close to shore. No, it's high tide. No, it'll be all right. Anything exciting happening in the world of cruising, Paul? You picked up on anything this week?
I've unfortunately been a bit out of the loop, because as much as it tells you it's got Wi-Fi at Goodwood, or 3G or 4G or 5G even, unfortunately lots of people descend on Goodwood, so yes, you've got a signal, but you can't actually get any bandwidth. So yes, I've been a bit out of the loop this week.
You've got to share it between 5,000 people.
Yeah, whereas it's normally, up at the Trundle at Goodwood, there's probably only a couple of hundred people at the very most when there's not an event on. So,
come on, camera focus.
I'm not aware of a huge amount occurring. Business as usual, as they say.
I did read that Amsterdam's considering banning cruise ships.
Yes, they are. But then it's like Venice. They're stopping ships going in because of the damage to either the ecosystem or the waterways in Venice. But the cruise companies generally tend to go, okay, well, we'll go to this port just along the coast and we'll use that instead. So, you still can visit Venice via cruise ship, but you're just not right in the centre as you would have been. So I'd imagine they'll do similar for Amsterdam.
I think we have another mystery flag on the side of Queen Victoria again. Little devils they are, challenging me unnecessarily. Fortunately, the camera seems to be having a moment about not focusing. Come on, just focus. Focus, you can do it. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to replace cruise cam. It's just not focusing or behaving like it should do.
For the sake of flag identification, of course.
What have we got here? It looks bluey. Oh, I can't really see. Oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. I think I've got it now. That looks blue with the green cross. I believe that might be another Dorset flag, is it? We had a Dorset flag last week. The most unsporting random counties of England's flags. I'm sure that's a Dorset flag. You have to let me know in the chat, shipmates, if I'm right, if that's a Dorset flag, or maybe I'm wrong. We do have a few waivers, and I'm not quite sure which ships the waivers are on. Let me just check. Did get some information. Elizabeth B is on Queen Victoria, deck 9. Oh, that could be Elizabeth B. Said she'd be waving though. Can't see much waving going on.
Derbyshire. Derbyshire, it looks like, that flag.
Derbyshire?
A frantic Google suggests it might be Derbyshire. It's got a yellow, rosy, roundly thing in the middle.
Oh, I know a few flags, but I think that's taking the mickey. I mean, how many counties?
Thinking outside the box, aren't they?
I mean, how many counties are there in the UK? There must be, guessing there must be something like 50, 60 counties.
Yeah, quite right.
That's a lot of flags, remember. Oh, I think I can see some waving going on the stern. Oh, yep, there's definitely some waving going on. I can see that now.
At the top, I can see.
I'm zooming in the wrong way. If that's you, Elizabeth G, we can certainly see you. There we go. Silly cameras misbehaving. Oh, everything's not... Oh, come on. Oh, come on, camera. Oh, it's having a really bad day, the cameras. There we go. Let's go back to that one. Yeah, technology's marvellous. 20% of the time. Looks like a lovely day out on the water, though. I was hoping
the sun shines out.
Yeah, although if we look on cruise cam, we can see the awful weather over on the Isle of Wight. Check on Cow's cam. Oh, it's sunny again now. I had an absolute shower there just a second ago. Oh, wrong one. Wrong camera.
That's quite a contrasting picture from 10 minutes ago, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is increasingly contrasting. Have you managed to get yourself onto a Cunard ship, Paul?
I've been on Queen Mary 2 before. That was quite nice for a week and a bit. She's, I'm glad she's the one of the Cunards that I have done, because she's obviously the proper ocean-going liner, properly designed for transatlantic, which is her main route. Didn't do transatlantic. I went to Rotterdam and, crikey, where else? Maybe Bruges, Zeebrugge. Can't remember exactly. It was quite a while ago now. But yeah, she's a lovely ship, stunning looking from the outside. Had a photograph taken with I think you mentioned before on the channel the cufflinks, captain's cufflinks.
Captain's cufflinks, yes, right by the
propellers at the front. They're quite a size. You sort of see them, but then when you actually stood next to one, able to physically put your hands on it, it's quite a large thing. To think there's several of those, because it's just one sort of blade, if you like.
Yeah, I think there's 4 on each. I think there's 3 or 4 on each propeller. Oh look, we've got red funnels. One red funnel hiding behind. It's almost like it's going to jump out and go boo. Yeah, it's nice to see a bit of sun. I was hoping to get out on Marty's speedboat today. We're going to drop it down the water and go for a good old rip around, but we just need more testing, really. He's had to put it back together.
Is that the one with the engine that's probably far too large for the ship?
That's exactly the one, yes. That's exactly the one.
Excellent. I've had the pleasure of being on board.
Yeah, bit of testing in the water, it's fine, but probably the next ambition is to... We have been around the Isle of Wight on it once, and I think we'll probably try and do that again, because that was quite a fun day out. Unfortunately, I did film it all, and then I promptly lost all the footage. I put it onto my computer, and I didn't realise that I'm running out of disk space, loaded it all on, and then started working on it, and then the video editing application crashed the disk because it ran out of space, and then lost all the footage. Very annoying. have a look on. Let's go back to Itching. It does look rather pleasant. I see the long-term forecast is picking up. Is there a particular time of year where I can get a good deal? I'm thinking about going away. Thinking about going away Monday because it's awful.
The colder it is, the better it is. Depends where you're going, really. But from Southampton.
Oh, got to be from Southampton.
Yeah, it's winter time is the cheaper ones, except obviously Christmas and things. And outside of school time, as most holidays, really, everyone seems to put a premium on school holidays. Sorry, inside of school times, I should have said. And outside of school times, they seem to all put a premium on because they can. And people, unfortunately, like it or lump it. But, yeah,
well, that's fine.
Sometimes you can catch them just before or just at the end of the school holidays, and if you are a family looking to go, when there's a bit of an overlap, you can, if you can skip a couple of days at school. Not that I'd ever recommend doing that, but it can quite often. The fine the school hands out might be the same sort of amount as you'd save on a cruise. So it's but if you're not going with a family, then outside of school holidays is your better times, really.
Excellent. We have Norwegian. Oh, come on. This having a battle with the technology. Norwegian Prima is also now on our screens, departing Port Southampton with the excellent slide down the side. And I seem to remember someone telling me that's actually a dry slide.
Yep.
I wonder if that, ideally, that would take you straight from the buffet to your cabin, wouldn't it?
It'd be handy. Just above that, actually, you can see the racetrack. They've got like a go-kart track as well, like 3-level go-kart track round the funnel.
Oh, that's the one on Norwegian Prima, is it? Oh, yes. Brilliant.
Yeah, you can just about see like where the slope of it goes down.
Yeah.
In front of the funnel. That's quite a novelty. Don't often get that.
Have you tried the go-kart track on a ship?
I haven't. No, they did some visits for agents, but it was on a sort of a ballot kind of thing, and unfortunately, I didn't get on the Prima on this occasion. But I will. It shall be visited at some point.
I would say that the bow of the Norwegian Prima does divide opinion.
A raked bow, isn't it? They call that, I think.
A raked bow, yeah. I always reminds me, I've got a whiff of the Dreadnought about it, as far as I'm concerned.
I did actually have a little look before we came on. Prices for this voyage start at £542 per person, £542.
£542 on the Norwegian Prima?
Yes, for this voyage that it's off on now, just to give people an idea.
£542?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty good, because that is an 11-night...
Exactly.
One-way cruise. You've always told me the repositioning cruises are cheaper.
This is it. Yeah. They always tend to be a little bit cheaper because they're one-way. I mean, that is the pricing that I quickly looked at today, so it might be to do with it being last minute as well. But yeah, she's doing the same thing on a couple of dates. Immediately afterwards, she's doing an 11-night returning from. She ended up in Reykjavik this time, so. And then she's doing an 11-night coming back. So potentially you could, if you've got the leave, you could do a back-to-back and go all the way there and come all the way back again.
Oh, that might be cheaper than trying to get arranging a flight from.
Yes, at the moment, yeah, definitely.
Well, we've got so here's Norwegian. We're coming down Santa Water, but there's quite a lot of conditions. So Norwegian Prima's in the sun, and then if we look over here, we've got Queen Victoria entering what appears to be the dark and gloomy weather over the Solent. Check on Cowscam. What is the weather? Oh, there's some dark clouds coming in, rain spots everywhere. It's just one of those weekends. How much would a flight be? Do you know from Reykjavik?
I would hate to guess at the moment. The airlines seem to be doing whatever the heck they feel like at the minute with flight. Sometimes you can get an absolute bargain. 10 minutes later, they seem to put it up by 3 times the amount. It's really very much a variable thing at the moment. But Reykjavik's not very far. So you'd imagine they'd they'd not be a massive cost.
That's a really good price though for an 11-night cruise, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the one. I think that's probably to do with it being last minute. I'm looking at the one for the 27th. It's doing the same thing, leaving from Southampton to go to Reykjavik. That's 1296 per person at the moment for insides.
Okay, so if there is actually a potential for a last-minute cruise, if you want a bargain.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. If you've got the availability or the flexibility to just be able to drop everything. That is obviously an inside cabin, but just looking at balconies, family balcony is 2063. So again, that's per person, but then you get different prices with kids and things. So yeah, there's a lot of availability, but under £100 per night is pretty. If generally you can look at £100 per night per person, then that's roughly right. But so, yeah, I mean, they do a studio on here, which is, I believe, a single, which is 1082. So,
all right, a single. Oh, that's unusual.
Yeah, they usually sell out first.
Yeah.
But yeah, little studios, and I think I'm right in saying Prima's got like a single or solo traveller lounge as well. So you've got all the sort of solo cabins all are linked to this lounge that you can go into and meet other people that are sailing separately as well.
Well, that's quite good.
Quite nice.
Yeah.
Quite nice. Just tea and coffee and things like that, and you can plonk yourself in there for a bit and meet like-minded people.
Do you get many solo bookings yourself?
I do. Funny enough, I had an inquiry come through just before we went live today.
Huh.
Somebody that's after. I mean, certain cruise lines embrace solo travellers, and certain ones sort of put up with them. They realise they have to have some allocation, but newer ships seem to have solo cabins and things like that. Whereas you get some older ships will have quite a big allocation of double cabins for solo occupancy. So, yeah, there's definitely options out there, but because they're limited, it is a case of getting in there first, really. If there's something that you fancy doing, then inquire about it sooner rather than later.
If you were a solo traveller, which lines would you recommend to look at for?
Norwegian, certainly.
Norwegian, yeah.
Yeah. MSC have got a few solo balconies as well, which aren't very common. The MSC Virtuosa that goes from Southampton.
Oh, solo balconies. Oh, yeah. Because I'm guessing most solo cabins are just tucked into some gap somewhere.
Yes, that's it. Inside, generally speaking. Sometimes you'll get an outside, with a window or something that'll be sort of low down in the depths. But
there's the dry slide there that goes all the way down from the buffet to your cabin.
I think that's what you'd need to. You might have to check how much you can have at the buffet before you can squeeze down the slide or not.
A weight restriction.
Probably more of a width restriction.
Yeah, that'll definitely be my trouble.
Like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. Who was that? Augustus
Gloop.
Yeah, that was it.
Comes in with a large pole and push.
A bit of sun here. The itching cam is misbehaving at the moment as well. Yeah, so the Norwegian Prima is off on a 11-night one-way cruise, as Paul was just telling us, to Reykjavik, Iceland. That's its final destination. And then you say it's coming back, Paul, back to...
Yes, doing the same sort of thing again, coming back. I've never... See, NCL's something that I'd love to sail on, and the ships are amazing, but I'd quite like to have just the round trip from Southampton. I mean, if you don't mind flying and getting a one-way flight, then it's great. But it's, I think, one of the reasons I haven't sailed on NCL. I think they'll get the idea that us Brits like to do round trips at some point.
Oh, that's interesting. So I didn't realise. So the NCLs only do...
They do a couple, but not a lot. I was just having a quick gander through earlier. Again, there's... let me go back to there where I was looking. There was a France, Spain. Where are we? I did spot one. I need to look at itinerary, not ship. Strange boy. Yeah, a lot. They seem to favour Reykjavik for some reason. Quite a lot of the itineraries seem to end up there. Let's go back. I've got a cruise search on the website that I can look, so you can narrow down all the itineraries and where you want to go from and to, and you can select just sailing from Southampton on there as well, which is quite handy, which I tend to use to have a squiz through. I think that's 2025. Yeah, that one's doing a one-way again. That's going to Barcelona, ending up in Barcelona. I definitely did spot. There we go. There's one on the 17th of September. It's going Southampton, Le Havre, Belfast, Reykjavik, Isafjorda in Iceland. Essentially, it's going, bit of France, bit of Belgium, round Iceland, about 3 ports in Iceland, Norway on the way back, and then back to Southampton. So
that's a real sort of random selection of places to go.
It is, yeah. It's a 2-week, 14 nights, and that one is from 1240 per person.
1240 for 14 nights.
Yeah, see, that's
sounds very reasonable.
Coming back, not a bad price. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't realise. I don't pay too much attention to them coming back in. I just see them going out.
Yeah, it looks like you get an overnight in Reykjavik, which is quite nice. It allows you to explore a bit more.
Oh yes, I did think that's one thing I would preferred when I went on to the fjords on Iona. I would have quite liked to have stayed overnight in a port to experience a bit of the nightlife.
Yes, Virgin Voyages do quite a bit of that, but obviously, sadly, not from Southampton. But they tend to do overnights or very late departures, which is quite nice. Again, it just allows you that bit more time.
When you say a very late departure, what?
It might be 3 a.m. or something. So they
do gosh.
An Ibiza one. Yeah, literally, really late.
Oh, right. So you can actually go out and have a meal.
Enjoy an evening out and not have to worry about getting back to the ship.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know that. See, this is why it's useful to speak to an expert like Paul, because he knows all these things. I can tell you how long I can tell you how long the ship is and how many passengers are on board, what its top speed is, but that's probably about the limit of my information.
I'm happy to pick up where you leave off.
There we go.
It is quite nice having overnight. I've done one of the first ones I did from Southampton, or the first one actually, went to Cork, or Cove, in Ireland, and that was like a 4, maybe a 5 day, and we had an overnight in Cork, which was really nice, just because you're right in the port at Cove. There's quite a bit there, including proper Irish pubs. So you can quite a lot of the crew like an overnight as well, because they don't have to do quite so much.
That makes sense.
The usual departures and things like that. So
did you get to experience a bit more of the city itself? Now,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was quite nice, quite leisurely.
I'm just looking at the chat. I've just realised I completely neglected the chat because I'm too occupied with all these cameras. It's our shipmate Jackie Mellors says sailing solo, balcony cabin, and cost as much as 2. Unfortunately, on Iona in September. NCL, I'd like to, but prefer a balcony cabin. Might be better off finding a friend then.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, they do have quite a high solo occupancy fee if you're not finding one of the solo cabins, if you see what I mean. So it is quite often 100%. Some of them will do it slightly cheaper, but once the solo cabins have gone, then they've gone, and it is, having done it myself, you end up paying the same price. Quite often you get double the loyalty points, but it doesn't really help when you're paying double the price.
No.
So it is very much a case of getting there as quickly as possible or hope for a cancellation.
Best thing to do is try and drag a family member along or something.
Yep, absolutely. Find a cruise buddy. A lot of people do that. As, if you've got a relative or someone, or even just a friend, like-minded person, then you can get the cabin set up as a twin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite often you find people don't always spend that much time in the cabins anyway. So.
Yeah, I would say I think you're right. And I barely spent any time in the cabin. It was just somewhere to go and burn off the buffet in the evening.
Someone to go and let the food go down.
Yeah, but they were decent size on Iona, good enough for the short space of time you're on there. Had a nap on the balcony. That was quite pleasant.
Yeah, I do like a balcony for that reason.
Yeah.
And to wake up in the morning as well. Just have a coffee or a tea or something on the balcony in the morning, or your breakfast. Just wake up with the sea air. That's very nice. Not so much when you went to Norway, though.
No, I think
it was a bit colder, wasn't it?
Well, it was -1 with the wind chill, which made it -7.
It's when you order coffee and you end up with iced coffee.
Yeah, in my books, that was slightly unpleasant. No. But when you leave from the port of Southampton, there's not much you can do about that.
No. I've had some lovely sail-aways from Southampton where it's virtually tropical, and then some other ones which are a bit like today, really.
Yeah, I think you're probably doing relatively well, considering what previous days have been like. So about 18 C, the wind's quite low. That'll be quite pleasant. Humidity's quite high, so it will feel warmer than it is.
Quite nice, even in conditions like this, to be sat at the pool bar with perhaps a fleece on or a thin coat or something like that. You can still be sitting by the pool bar with a cocktail and things. You still feel like you're on your holidays.
It's one thing I noticed, that yes, certainly the outside bars were quite empty. There were not very many people there at all.
Yeah.
So that would definitely
quite nice those on those occasions, because you get a bit of a rapport with the bar staff and things as well. You get a bit of a chat, and they're quite often from all sorts of places. International crew normally, so it's quite nice to have a chat with them when they're not so busy.
Yes, I certainly found that. And after my second rum-based cocktail, I didn't even need to tell them which one I wanted next.
Nope, that's it. I can normally remember when there's hundreds of people, so yeah, you're fairly can be fairly confident they'll know what you want after the second drink.
Yeah, I did fox them one day though. I went in and ordered the beer. It looked very strangely at me. So the Norwegian Prima is off to the one-way cruise to Reykjavik, Iceland via Zeebrugge, Amsterdam. I won't be doing that for much longer. Bergen, Geiranger, Alsund, Uckuri, and Ilsefjord. So, quite a few destinations. There'll be a few days where you're at sea there, won't there?
Yeah, they've got. I'm just looking at the itinerary now. Can't zoom in. Day 1 and 2. Day 3. Oh, it's named by ports. That'll be why. 6. There's actually no sea days on there. Oh no, 13th you're at sea. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be one sea day on there, surely.
Yeah, the bit in between Norway and Iceland.
Ah, yes. Shipmate Vanessa Wells is asking why no Amsterdam. Amsterdam are looking to ban cruise ships from, I think it was something like 2025 or something. Don't remember. A couple of years' time, but yes, they're looking to ban cruise ships. Shipmate Kerry Steed says P&O cater for singles.
They do, indeed. Most lines do, yeah. It's just sad that they, well, not sad, but they just do get booked up so quickly, because people that obviously want that know that they do get booked up quickly, and they're sort of on the ball as soon as the availability is released, and they jump on it. I'm just looking at alternative ports. I can't pronounce it. Ijmuden. Ijmuiden.
I'm glad you've taken the one for the team there on the pronunciation front.
Ijmuid and something. That's 18 miles west of the city of Rotterdam.
I have considered actually trying to work out how you spell these. I need access to the BBC pronunciation department at some of these places.
Yes, those are the alternatives. Rotterdam's quite nice to sail into, though. It's quite a nice port. And they're geared up for the larger ships as well, so...
I'm just looking back through the chat to see if there's anything I've missed that's pertinent. I think I'm all right. Well, I'm just going to... Well, ahoy to Tracy Reese and Mrs. AO. Ahoy to Elizabeth G. Ahoy to Ellie Murley. Ahoy to Nicholas August. And ahoy to Bertie Doe. I think I'm going to cover all of our members that are part of the channel. I'd just like to get them first. And ahoy to all the other shipmates who are part of the channel. Sorry, I've sort of neglected the chat for a little bit there. If you have a pertinent question for Paul about cruising or something else, just bang in the chat again, because I should be looking at the moment, because we should be waiting for next full departure of Arvia, which will be at 6 o'clock in about 20 minutes' time. I'm pretty sure that'll be fairly accurate. There's no reason to delay because the weather is much better than yesterday, so that'll be our next departure. Ahoy there, shipmate Johnny B. Says, hi, Captain. Looks like he's forgotten about you, Paul.
That's fine. Not a problem. Oh, you're the one that's always here, so...
Yeah. I did get a picture this afternoon from a shipmate of the Disney Dream of, and again, I won't pronounce the place, over in Denmark, in the port in Denmark. And they said there was a market on in the little town and everyone was singing Disney songs. I'm not sure I would have. I'm not sure I could have coped with that, if I'm honest.
Depends how long it went on for, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose you could walk out of the market or put your headphones in or something. But yes, and they were talking to the locals, and the locals enjoy the cruise ships arriving, as it provides a good income for their little town.
I was reading about the Amsterdam thing, and it's a bid to curb pollution and a drive to reduce tourist numbers. That's the reason they voted to shut down the cruise terminal in Amsterdam. You can understand the pollution, but I'm not really sure I understand the reduce the tourist numbers.
Maybe they have a problem with tourists.
Maybe.
Most people seem to be encouraging them. Perhaps that's not the same in Amsterdam. Let's have a look on Cow's Cab. Of course, you can see those little pockets of rain. I think they're coming down to you, Paul.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. Appreciate that.
That's okay. It's normally shipmate Dean Willis that's in Devon. He normally sends them over to us. It tends to come from the west, the weather, most of the time. Not very obedient. Oh. Camera is not... There we go. Camera is being most unobedient. There we go. Right, all working. Good. Got that working. I would actually, funny you've been at the races this week. I'm off to the races next weekend.
Ah, whereabouts?
Up to Newmarket.
You've missed it.
Yeah, no. Well, I was going to go this weekend, but we decided not to bother because the weather was awful. Off to Newmarket for a land-based activity or for a day at the races.
I'm sure they'll find you a rum-based beverage there.
Well, actually, I do tend to spend most of the time at the champagne tent.
Wow, good grief.
Well, it's conveniently located right next to the finish line, and the parade ring is just the other side. So it's an excellent location.
Don't mind swapping a beverage of choice for the day for that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just for convenience.
Well, actually, I'm actually editing up a little video. I went to a Fizz Fest a couple of weeks ago. And it was in Hambledon, and it's a celebration of English sparkling wine.
Nothing to do with Bucks Fizz, the pop group, then?
No, thank heavens, nothing to do with Bucks Fizz. Yeah. English sparkling wine, and they had over 20 different types of English sparkling wine, all from Hampshire. So I am editing up a video, but I've decided not to use the audio that I was recording at the time. I'm going to have to overdub it.
Hopefully it wasn't slurring.
Well, as the tasting went on, the quality of commentary decreased, I have to say.
Say no more.
Oh, I didn't say that. This is Arvia. She's due to depart at 6 o'clock, so about 15 minutes' time. And she's off to... Well, where's Arvia off to then? I'm pretty sure she's off to there. Does Arvia do anything different, or does she do the same route to the Mediterranean?
Seem to do variations on. This one, La Coruña, Valencia, Marseille, Barcelona, Alicante, Cadiz, and back.
Yeah.
So quite a nice itinerary that, because you've got a fair few sea days.
Yes.
But you're getting quite far round into the Med as well. So
yeah, it's a long way to the Med. Yeah.
Quite nice, yeah.
I just wondered, because there was a shipmate this morning that got off of Arvia, and they'd been on there for a month.
Wow.
So I didn't know if Arvia does a 14 days somewhere in the Mediterranean and 14 days to the sort of Tenerife or something, or sort of slight variation, or if they just did the same cruise back to back.
They tend, if people sort of new ships as well, they tend to try and vary them a little bit, because people haven't necessarily been on board and they want to attract different sort of markets. So different people to go to different ports. So they sort of vary, but generally, yeah, it's Med and Canaries, or a little bit of Spain and Canaries, and then sometimes a bit of Norway. But they might change up a couple of the ports. But some of the ships, especially ones out in the Caribbean, just do exactly the same itinerary week after week.
Week after week, yeah.
Yeah. And generally, if people that are doing back-to-backs, like the people you just mentioned, they don't necessarily want to do exactly the same itinerary twice.
Yes, I could see that, definitely.
You can pick ones that are, you might stop at Gibraltar on one of them, and then somewhere else, some of the other ports. And then, yes, okay, you come back to Southampton, but you head off again on the different itinerary, so that's quite nice.
Shipmates, who's this? Bruni Peterson, 8 weeks until they're on Arvia. Can't wait. I'm guessing that'll be the similar cruise for you, shipmates.
It's lovely. Sometimes when you book it a long way in advance, it seems so far away, but then all of a sudden it creeps up on you and you think, oh, we're going 3 weeks' time. We're off.
Shipmate Ellie Murley suggests I should keep the original commentary.
Maybe you do two.
Maybe you should do two versions. Do the PC version and the un-PC version.
The after the watershed version.
Yeah, after the fifth glass version. Yeah. Well, I'll think about that. Maybe a members only version for the channel. Hi there, Debbie Does Cruises. Interesting name. Say no more. She says enjoys listening to you gents with your commentary, thoughts, and playful mockery.
Thank you.
There we go. Good. Glad we can entertain. World of 360 says, if you're at Newmarket next week, will you be doing a commentary on this Sunday instead next week? It's a good question, actually. I actually might be able to. Rather bizarrely, actually, if you saw a bit of farm cam or field cam a while ago, it's at the same location, and my friend lives in a very rural location, and he became the broadband champion for the little tiny villages in, because he was upset with the quality of the internet service there. So he became the local village broadband champion, which I'm not entirely sure what it entailed, but lots of work, lots of sending off letters to British Telecom, and his internet went from about circa 1995 to 2020.
Excellent.
It was abysmally slow, and now it's actually super, super fast. So yes, in fact, yes, I can. I have actually broadcast from there before, when I think when field cam was in operation. So yes, I might do a Sunday one then. I was entertained to broadcast from strange locations. I thought World of 360, you were going to give me some recommendations on which horses to put my money on, but never mind. I have also thought about doing a live stream from the races, but don't know if they'll get into trouble for that.
Might end up with the same situation as Goodwood, where everyone else is putting a huge demand on the poor little cell tower.
Yeah, I suspect that's probably more like the problem. Shipmate Naford's 23 says, how do you know when a ship is ready to depart? Well, good question, shipmate. How do I know? Well, if you go to the website VTS, or if you search Google for VTS cruise ships, you'll get a schedule of all the ships and their departure times. It's a bit provisional, so you can't really rely on it, but it's good enough. It should tell you the time they're supposed to depart. Most of the time, they depart pretty much at the time that is suggested. Alternatively, you can listen to the VTS radio, which is not working at the moment. But when I have the VTS radio working, which will be hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, you can then hear updates from the actual controllers. VTS is Vessel Traffic Services here in port, and they communicate with the vessels and the tugs and all the other ships, making sure people don't crash into each other, and they take their time. Alternatively, you can tune into the Solent Ships YouTube channel, and we can do things like this. We can look at the lines on Arvia and see if they're moving. Now, if there's a little shipmate on that hatch there, I would say that departure is probably about 10 to 15 minutes. If there's no shipmate on the hatch, we're not looking at departure for a little while. So that's my rough metric.
That's been fairly fail-safe. Has been quite good on that, hasn't it, so far?
Yeah.
No person on the thing, no ship moving.
Yep, it's normally a good sign. Let's have a look. Where else are we? Maybe someone else has given me some. Someone else give me some tips for the races. That's horse jokes, I think. Shipmate Pedful Gaming says, make sure you back horses with full legs. It's not a bad idea, really. I don't normally back the winning ones. Shipmate David Seraphan also suggests I back the horse with the full legs. Yeah. Shipmate Vanessa Wells is multitasking, watching the World Cycling Championships and Ship TV on her phone and laptop. Gosh. There is some multi-talented individuals out there.
Two quite different things as well. One of it very physical and fast-paced, and the other one quite leisurely.
Shipmate Ryan Gaming says Prima stern and Anthem of the Sea stern are very similar. It's funny you should say that, shipmate. I thought it looked familiar, and I couldn't place which ship it looked like, and I think you're probably right. A lot of suggestions for me backing horses with full legs. Shipmate Glenn Cox says, am I getting the boat show on cam this year? Oh, I'm not sure, shipmate. I'll see what I can do. That depends on a few things. Shipmate Liz H says the Newmarket Crow's Nest. I'm not sure if that's a betting tip. Shipmate Judy Walker says week on Friday going around the Mediterranean. Cannot wait, but hoping for the Bay of Biscay is calm. Yes, that would be quite useful. Here we have New Frontier on her way back to Holland. She is the bunkering vessel that fills up Arvia and Iona with LNG, liquefied natural gas. I'm led to believe it might come from the byproduct of animals and food waste, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to confirm that with someone. But she fills up Arvia and Iona every couple of weeks. Apparently, Iona and Arvia can go, or they can do quite a few trips without refilling, which is quite amazing, really. You must have some massive tanks on board. Shipmate Mark Perkins asks, what is Paul's website? Okay, that's no problem. I can fill you in with that. It's lovecruise.co.uk. And if you
That's the one.
stick in the Solent Ships link, we'll know where you've come from.
Absolutely, yep. That page will take you to a contact form, so it just lets you know that you've come from Solent Ships, so I can look after you extra specially.
There we go. And shipmate Stuart Infamous Fox says next Saturday for him. Can't wait. I'm guessing you might be on Iona next Saturday. Shipmate Danny Drayton, 2 weeks from being on Arvia. They did Iona last year and loved it. Well, I've been on Arvia and Iona, and I would say that they're very similar, which sounds silly because they're sister ships. But yes, you feel right at home. Slightly bigger street food sort of section on Arvia. That was it.
Quite impressive ships, the pair of them. Quite a lot on board.
Yes, no, I think as I've said before, the thing that surprised me more than anything was how quiet they were. Just I couldn't hear a thing. I couldn't hear any engine vibrations or engine noise or people when I was on my balcony. And even walking around the ship, there just never seemed to be many people on board, considering there were 5,500 passengers and over 1,500 crew. There was just the odd person here, the odd person there. Just guessing everyone was in their cabin having a nap, perhaps.
I think that's what worries people about big ships as well. I personally prefer the bigger ships, just because there's so much to do, and if the weather is a little inclement, shall we say, they tend to deal with it a lot better than a small ship might. That's just one of the things that appeals to me.
We definitely had a bit of a blow across the North Sea, and I barely noticed it. Well,
yeah,
a mere ripple on my rum.
Yeah, I think that does. I think people sort of have the misconception if there's 5,500 people on a ship, you're all going to be squished in on queuing up and everything else. But they manage that amount of people so well, especially boarding and departure as well, which I'm sure I remember you saying before was, getting on was really rapid and similar for getting off, especially if you self-carry your luggage when you get off. You get off as you wish without much queuing at all.
I think I went from being dropped off at the ocean terminal, checking in, dropping my bags off, checking in, finding my cabin because I had to get my key so that I could add the drinks package to it, pay for the drinks package because I hadn't done that already, go upstairs, find the crow's nest, order a rum, sit down with a view looking out Southampton, and I think that was about 45 minutes from being dropped off, throwing my bags in the cabin, sorting it all out.
Yep.
And then being relaxed.
And if you say 15 minutes of that was probably walking time, 10 minutes of it was purchasing a drinks package, then, yeah, it's really, even going through security and things, it's just, they're so sort of streamlined now.
Yes, it was certainly very good. Yeah. I know, I think they were a bit clogged up, weren't they, during the COVID times because there was all the testing and so on. That really wasn't particularly helpful with such a large cruise ship like Arvia and Iona.
Towards the end of that, they really got a handle on it, though, because Royal Caribbean, for example, you just go for a test beforehand and then bring your results with you, kind of thing. Or even later, it was do your own test at home and bring a photo of it. It was they got a little bit less scared at the end of it, and then they just I think most of them now don't bother about it at all, or some of them that do it, you do your own test. But
I think the Fred Olsen was one of the last ones to drop it, and I think they've dropped it. Last time when I was on there, it was the last time they were doing the testing.
That's it. One of the ones at the very beginning, I had to go off to one of their named locations and have it done on site, and then they had to send it off somewhere else.
Ooh, right, that's quite involved, isn't it?
So yeah, it was. I happened to be going off to Dorking or something one day, so one of the places was there. So off I went to a chemist in Dorking and sat in a little room or shielded off area and had my test done like I would have at home, and then they sent that off to the cruise line. So
Shipmate Brownie Peterson says we're on deck 15 to right at the bow. I wonder what this ship they're talking about. Are they on Arvia? I think we've got some lines coming in on Arvia now. We've got a little shipmate chap out on the hatch, and I think those lines look like they're going out, which doesn't seem quite right. It's just an optical illusion.
there's two that look completely slack, isn't there? Going straight down.
Yeah, I think they're coming in, aren't they? Let's see if we can find this shipmate who potentially is on the bow. Let's see if cruise cam will be compliant and obedient. And if we'll get any strange flags on Arvia. Yep, those lines are definitely coming in, so it looks like a 6 o'clock departure is very imminent. Just going to nudge up a bit. People will say which deck they're on, but I've got to be honest, it's quite tricky sometimes working out which deck is which. But they're right on the bow. So deck 15, I think, it's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be visible now, isn't it? Surely, it's got to be one of those ones somewhere. There we go. We'll keep an eye out for them.
I think we counted last time, didn't we, from the decks with the whirlpools on?
Yes, that's right.
You're in the one above the whirlpools, aren't you? You're on the deck above.
Yes. Shipmate Susan Spears says we'll give you away from deck 10 aft with our Union flag. Ha-ha! Union flag time. I can identify that one. Yeah. It's not too bad. Shipmate Ellie Burley says that's definitely a concern that she has. I think she's talking about the larger ships. Her anxiety doesn't like crowds.
No, I'm not the biggest fan in the world, but yeah, it's surprising. If you arrive at your time or even a little bit earlier than your allocated time, then you generally don't have to worry too much. And it's like the terminals themselves are quite wide open spaces, so you're not sort of bunched up into a bit of a squish to get on, you know.
Yeah, so I would say they seem less crowded than airports. Shipmate Andrea Youngman is going to wave a silver bag for her daughter and family to see from 14 mid-aft. I think I just saw a flag down here somewhere near the bow line. I've just zoomed in and it's gone. I'm definitely gonna have to replace cruise cam because it's behaving very tardily. It's like it's been out on the rums all night. I'm asking it to do some work. It's got a technology hangover.
Strange analogy. Deck 16 is the Lido deck, so immediately below that will be 15, where the shipmate mentioned they will be waving from.
Okay, no, dear me. Right, this is a blue flag with a white rose.
Oh,
quite fetching, I have to say. I'm guessing that's somewhere up north. Let's say Lancashire.
if Derbyshire had the same flower or rose or whatever in the middle, and that was yellow.
Well, we're certainly getting some quality waving. We've got flags and quality waving, so that's excellent there, shipmates. If you could helpfully tell us in the chat where your flag is from, because you're beating my flag knowledge. I'm sure I'm wrong.
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire, is it?
It would appear to be Yorkshire.
Oh, I thought Yorkshire had a red rose. Oh. Well, there we go.
White rose on a blue field is symbolic of Yorkshire.
Well, that's some excellent waving, and thank you, people from Yorkshire. I'm surprised, considering you're from Yorkshire, that you've sprung for a flag.
That's slanderous. Any slander if it's not true.
I know they're fiscally prudent, these people from Yorkshire. Oh, that's a good flag, though. It's an easy spot. Well done, shipmates. Thank you for that. Let's see if we can see what else. I'm guessing those. Let's have a look at those lines. See what's happening there. A couple of lines left. Oh, that's all lines now free. I'll let a bit of slack in so the shipmates on the dock side can heave ho.
That's another advantage of having a balcony. It's great to watch that. It's great to watch people letting go their lines.
There we go. That comes from someone who's enjoyed the process. I was quite surprised just watching the amount of provisions being taken on board. Pallets and pallets and pallets of eggs.
It does seem quite surreal, doesn't it?
It does. You think so? You know, how many eggs do people eat? But then, as someone pointed out, a lot of the ships actually make a lot of things with eggs on board, don't they? So they're bread.
Yeah, most of them make all the bread, cookies. You know, everything's from scratch generally.
Yeah, so omelets and all these sorts of things. So I can see how you might get through a lot of eggs, because you're not just having a couple of fried eggs with your breakfast.
No, that's it. By the time you order in cookies or cakes or something pre-made, you can imagine they wouldn't be that fresh when they're out. No. There's nothing quite like getting a warm bread roll that's just been baked with your dinner.
Now you're making me hungry, shipmate. Queen Victoria here, just passing at Cowes on the Isle of Wight. I think I can see another flag. Oh, I feel like I've got an exam coming up with all these. Giving me the nerves of sitting my exams. It's like, oh no, what flags are going to be this time? And I feel like I haven't revised.
Sitting here with a Google search ready. I'll be the cheat in the corridor.
Yeah, you're definitely the cheat. Yeah. It's like you're doing a pub quiz with a mobile phone. Oh, here we go. It's focused in. Actually, that's quite easy. That's a Union flag. Oh, I can cope with that one.
Oh, is that the shipmate in the chat? You mentioned they'd have a Union flag.
I don't know, because it's above. It's about mid. Well, actually, forward. Mid forward, I would say. And they're on deck, quite a low deck, just above the promenade deck. So that probably is about deck 10 or something like that.
We're looking at Cowes Cam still at the moment.
Yeah, I know. Just watching Queen Victoria zip past.
Yes. Surprising how quick they can build up a bit of speed to get past when they're going, once they're out of the port of Southampton, exactly.
Exactly. They do pick up speed. Here we go. And Iona is now departing, slowly moving backwards. There we go. There's our shipmates with Union flags. That looks like a proper flag. It's got some toggles on it to hang it up. Very good. Let's see if we can see any more flags or wavers. Flags has definitely become the phenomenon on the channel.
Has. I see the lady there in that couple looking at her phone, so she'll probably suddenly, quick, wave it. There you go. They spotted it.
You're waving it with more vigour now, is she?
Yes. Hold it higher.
Zoom in on you if you're going to wave it. Oh, yes, there's some waving going now as well. There we go. Arvia, of course, off on a 14-night Mediterranean cruise via La Coruna, Valencia, Marseille, Barcelona, Alicante, and Cadiz.
So much more confidence pronouncing those ports.
No, I just take on the persona of Manuel.
Oh, okay.
I was checking the weather for Alicante for the next 2 weeks, and I think I want to be the weatherman for Alicante, because the weather for the next 2 weeks is sunny, very low wind, and 32 C, and that's it. It's the same every day for the next 2 weeks.
Excellent.
Is someone waving, or are they just cleaning their balcony? There's some people cleaning their balcony. That's very good of them, isn't it? Do we think that is actually people cleaning their balcony? Oh, come on, lad.
Cabin steward, they'd only be the one.
Look at that, cleaning their balcony. Just want that better view.
Probably got quite a bit of salt on the outside.
Come on, Brian, give it a wipe. You've got longer arms, Brian. Oh, sorry, Doris. They're a bit short. I'll try my hardest. Yeah, I bet they do get salty. Yeah, that's probably a good problem.
Quite crystallised. The easiest way to clean it is tipping some water down it. It just seems to wash it all away quite easily.
There we go. That is a tip from a cruise professional.
Well, you can't lay on your bed and look out then, can you? If you've got a frosty
No, this is a very good point, yeah.
Not that I'd ever just lay on my bed and look out the window.
No, but I think it's a very important to have a clear visibility, especially of the wonderful port of Southampton as you're sailing down. Right, let's see if we can see any more flags.
It's amazing how much better the port of Southampton looks when you're leaving rather than returning to it after a nice 2-week cruise somewhere.
Yeah, I could wax lyrical about what I think. Oh, I feel a flag challenge coming up.
I can see some wavers on the
no, what's
bottom
this
deck.
one? Dear. Oh, it's exam time again.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it's got some wavers outside on the whirlpool deck down the bottom, and the
What have we got?
flag.
What have we got here? That's looks suspiciously like the Stars and Stripes. Can't really see any blue. And that's what is that? That's like a green and white. Oh, hang on, these flags are just towels.
I think they're stripy towels.
Yeah, you.
I could be there all day trying to identify those.
Oh, hang on, we've got snogging going on. I'm not sure we're allowed that on this channel. This channel's very PG. You're not supposed to snog on air, people. Come on. There's families watching. People are about to go to the buffet. I think I'll zoom out from that one before it. Good. Well, I'm glad that were just towels because I was starting to worry that I'd have no idea what those flags were. You said there were some more waivers somewhere, was there?
There were on the. We've got the black glass. There were some people on the bit on the sort of promenade deck, right in the centre of the black glass part.
Oh, I can see another one. No, it's. I don't know what this
Another
one is.
flag.
I'm hoping this is a towel.
You could run a competition for this.
No, I guess that looks like a towel or a headscarf or something. Yeah, it goes phew, because I don't know any flag that's quite like that.
Headscarf of Mongolia, I'll have you know.
Yeah, and this is the county of Pembrokeshire or something odd.
Silly Isles.
Very good, plenty of waving there. See, we've got Prima on Cow's Cam, just zipping past. So we've got maniacal wavers with their headscarves and all sorts.
You seem to get the most waving from P&O ships, don't you?
I'd say so. Yeah, I don't know which. If there are more British people on. Oh no, there's more flow. Yeah, it's like there's like 20 questions exam time. Just. Oh, there's a Union flag. Oh, we're good with that one. Yeah, I wonder if we get more British people on. I mean, essentially the YouTube channel, Solent Ships YouTube channel, is made up. I think it's something like 85% British people. Double Union flags. Oh well, at least you haven't brought out your random county flag. That's good.
I think it might be to do with Cruise Cam mainly focusing on the ocean terminal, and P&O tend to go from the ocean terminal.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, you're right, because we only really get a briefing glimpse of them on the other terminals, don't we? Yeah, we can see there, shipmates. Definitely see your Union flagness. Excellent. I think I saw another one just a couple of rows up.
The next cruise I go on, I'm going to have to create some kind of random flag.
Oh yes, you little devil, you! I know.
Just to be able to wave it for the sake of identification.
Oh,
another one at the top.
Oh, I'm going to say that these might be Saint scarves. Oh no, we've just gone behind. Should have got behind something. There's nothing there. What's there? Oh, I've run out of space. I've run out of wall. I think they might have been Saint scarves.
Or called Sunderland. Red and white, aren't they?
I guess so. There are quite a few clubs on there with red and white.
True.
What we got here? Oh,
there's another Union flag up on the pool deck, just below the P.
Oh, just below the P. Oh, let's have a look. Oh, I didn't see that. When I do my broadcast here, I've actually only have a really small screen, so it's added to the challenge. I think I might have missed that. Yeah, I've missed that. I've been going round and got a bit confused.
A bit like Celebrity Squares, almost. But except with a celebrity, there's a flag.
Celebrity Squares. Oh, yeah, I think you're might be showing your age there, Paul.
Oh, I can see another one as well.
Where?
Below the dome part, where the concertina part of the dome is.
Oh yeah. It's a challenge flag, I feel. Welsh.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I'm going with Dragon on that one. We do get a lot of Welsh flags. I'm guessing if you live in Cardiff, Southampton's a very convenient port for you. Hopefully the old man at the back is watching it on his phone.
He's on his device looking.
I think he is.
Just stand there, Vera. Hold that.
Yeah. Wave it a bit more. They can't see it. Unfortunately, we've run out of space here. Run out of room. The Arvia has to reverse back into the port. And unfortunately, I lose Arvia behind the building.
We arranged to have the building demolished.
Well, it's the same building the camera's on, so it could be potentially problematic.
Oh. Just that end.
Just that end, yeah. It does need to go higher up, really, a different location. Have we missed anything? I don't think we've missed anything. No, I think we've got all the flags. Quite a lot of people out on top deck. I think the weather is actually quite agreeable this evening. No, it's not the best.
I think certainly the deck below the very top. You've probably got glass sides there, so that
yes, it does.
Quite nice because you're sheltered.
Exactly, and we are currently looking at 18C with a 74% humidity, but wind is not very high, so yeah, you'll be quite sheltered up on top and relatively warm. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Bill Roberts. Many thanks for subscribing. Welcome aboard. Make your way down to the galley and grab a mug of grog on your way. I did read there was a new cruise ship coming into the port. I think that was a Norwegian one. In September, October.
MSC Euribra.
That's it. Yeah, MSC. Yeah, you go with that. You go with that name.
Yeah. Yes, that's here for the winter season.
Aha,
and that's all it's one of their first LNG, I think.
That's right. Yep.
Ships. So they're touting that one as super environmentally friendly.
And do you know where she'll be cruising to?
I think she's doing sort of Northern Europe things again, because there's, again, sort of from Southampton at that time of year, there's not really, I mean, you can do Canaries and things like that, but they tend to favour sort of Norway and things like that. I'm going to have a look as we speak.
Yeah, I think it's named after the Greek goddess of wind and tides or something. That's quite a good name.
Yes, she harnessed the winds, weather, and constellations to master the seas.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
But they decided on purpose to misspell it.
Ah, okay. That.
She spelt with a Y, and
Yes.
they spelt it with an I.
I just thought that was a poorly written article when I was reading it.
Nah.
You can see Arvia here is just turning around. You can see almost turned around, heading towards the dockhead. No need for tug assistance today. And it looks like it's gone sunny again. Yeah, looking back up to port. Yeah, it's quite sunny up there. What's it like over in Cowes? It's just wet and watery over in Cowes.
Yes, Northern Europe it seems to be. Let's select Southampton. Doing Le Havre, Rotterdam, Hamburg. Oh yes, I seem to remember looking before. She's quite often going into Hamburg, which is quite a nice little sailing because you sail down the river and into Hamburg.
Oh, right.
Did that one recently. But yeah, pretty much looking at this, October, November, Le Havre, Zeebrugge, Rotterdam for Amsterdam. Yeah, she seems to be doing that mostly. There's another one that's a bit longer. She's going south to Tenerife, 21 nights. It's a nice long one. 5th of January.
And do you know when she comes into the port of Southampton? I think it's middle of September, isn't it?
Yes. I did have the date written down last time.
Someone's in the pool, in one of the hot tubs.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite a fun way to depart the port of Southampton in a hot tub.
Absolutely. There's a trick to doing that. So you have to take some swimwear in your hand luggage when you're getting on.
Oh, yes, of course.
Unless you're doing a back-to-back, and of course you've already got all your luggage and things. But unless you get your luggage sooner, because you could wear your Speedos, couldn't you, under your clothes, and then fling them off like Superman and leap in the hot tub.
I guess you could. I think I'd probably just pack them in the hand luggage.
Yeah. I don't mean board the ship with just Speedos.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was just thinking of keeping it really light.
You could be wearing them under your clothes and then...
Yes. I'll see if I can see that flag. Any flag waving up by the P&O sign? No, I've probably missed that now. Certainly lots of people wandering around deck. I can see what looks to me quite a lot of short wearing and short sleeve shirts. So that does suggest that it's quite pleasant on board.
Tenth of October seems to be the first itinerary that's available for Arvia that we were talking about.
I guess he's probably doing a few press cruises and media cruises.
Yeah.
Need to get myself invited on board for some of those things.
Absolutely.
Shipmate Mark Waite says it's nice down at Cowshot. I bet it is, shipmate. It does look quite nice down there. Shipmate Nigel Willoughby has a question for you, Paul.
Oh, far away.
How many people changed their cruise after Princess changed the Plus and Premier packages? Oh, I'm not familiar with that. What's that all about then?
I haven't had any change their cruises actually, but Yeah, they've had a bit of a shake-up of their packages and things, so to include more or less things, but generally less, I think. But it's for the sake of cost saving, I imagine. But generally speaking, they cover most things on most packages. But yeah, they are sort of honour things that that they've sold previously, but they do make adjustments to certain things. But no, I've not had any cancellations because of it or changed their cruise.
Yeah, I would assume that if you've bought one package that you still get that, or they've actually changed the details of the package.
Yeah, they're minor changes. There's a lot of people in that infinity pool on the back of it.
There is. This is where I'd probably be up at the Sky Bar, best place for departure. When we departed on Niner, I was on the crow's nest because it was raining.
Oh.
But yeah, there's a good number up here. Yeah, there's quite a few bars on the stern. I still have to edit up the video where I went to every bar. Again, I think there's a problem with the commentary on that one as it gets towards the end.
Can't think why.
No.
Yes, 13th of October seems to be the first sailing for MSC Arvia, which is the new MSC ship. Quite pretty colours. It's the Save the Waves or Save the Seas livery that they've got all over theirs this time.
Yeah.
It's going Southampton, Hamburg, Rotterdam, overnight in Rotterdam, Le Havre and Southampton. 7 nights. 589 per person.
Oh, sounds quite good. Get onto a new ship.
Yeah. One after that. That's a good little itinerary. 20th of October, 7 night. It's going Southampton, Falmouth, St Peter Port in Guernsey, Hamburg, Le Havre, back to Southampton. 549 per person.
There we go. There's some deals. I guess it's slightly out of season.
It is October, yeah, definitely. But it'll still be quite nice. As long as you're not expecting glorious sunshine every day.
Yes, no, I don't think that's going to happen very often, is it, that time of year?
No. And then, yeah, November 449 going to... Where was that one? Same sort of thing, Southampton, Zeebrugge, Rotterdam, Le Havre. 449 per person.
Shipmate Tracy Reese says that her workmate is on Arvia for the first cruise.
Mm. It's quite nice being on a maiden voyage as well.
Do they do anything in particular for a maiden voyage?
It depends on the cruise line, but they quite often give you little sort of keepsakes and things like that, and even if it's just sort of a card for thank you for being on the first voyage and things like that, or some of them give you little like coins and things like that I've had before. It's quite nice, but you've got to sort of look at it with the prospect that it is the first voyage and some things might not go exactly according to plan, but then that's why they tend to put a couple of shakedown voyages beforehand.
I know that we used to get
people and
we used to get some really good firework displays when the ships left, but they haven't done that for a while. Don't know why.
I'm guessing money, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was the Cunard.
They had a hard couple of years. cruise companies.
Yes. Well, there's some relatively dramatic skylines out there now. As Iona now departs down Southampton water on her 14-night cruise to the Mediterranean via La Coruña, Valencia, Marseille, Barcelona, Alicante, and Cadiz. And like you say, there's a few days there where she's actually at sea, isn't there? So she should get round.
Yeah, it's quite nice because you can make the most of the ports and explore lots of things and do lots of things, and then you've got a day or two to chill out afterwards and explore the ship a bit. So that's quite nice. I quite like a sea day because you've just got nothing to do. You know, no commitments, I should say. There's plenty to do, but you don't have to do anything if you don't want to, which is sometimes quite nice.
Yeah, all on board.
On holiday. Yeah.
Everything's sorted for you.
Yes, quite right. Meander off and find an exercise class or a quiz or, well, depending on the ship, all sorts of different things. 4D cinema, MSC Virtuoso's got. That's quite interesting.
Shipmate Jane Morris says, got a lovely pair of etched glasses on the Iona Maiden.
There you go, yeah. Just trying to think of the various things that I have got. Yeah, it's quite nice to say you've been one of the first people on a ship. First revenue sailings.
Yeah, I must be quite excited because everything must be new and squeaky.
Yes, quite right. That new ship smell.
New ship smell. There we go. It is quite dramatic skylines out there.
It's always an impressive sight when you get the sun shining through a gap in the clouds like that.
Yes. Shipmate Andrew A says it's a hard choice between going to the bar or being on deck to wave to your camera.
Doesn't sound a hard choice at all.
No, I think it's a hard choice.
Go to the bar and get several drinks and then come away.
I think that's the solution, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely, just in case you run out.
Yeah.
It's all in the planning.
Okay, let me have a look at the schedule, because I did talk about next week. I'll see if I can do any what's happening in the world of ships, cruise ships in the Port of Southampton next week. Anything exciting? We've got Island Princess, Queen Mary 2 on the Friday. Friday we've got Queen Mary 2 just by herself. Saturday we've got Iona, the MSC Virtuoso, Regal Princess and Sky Princess. I won't be able to, well, I might be able to do Saturday actually. Get back from horse racing on time. Sunday is 3 ships: Anthem of the Seas, Bolet or Bolette, and Queen Victoria.
Anthem of the Seas is the ship I've been on the most. Been on several times.
What takes your fancy about Anthem of the Season?
I'm a fan of Royal Caribbean. I've been on lots of others, but I tend to go back to Royal Caribbean each time because whether I compare to it or not, I don't know. It was one of the first that I went on and just kind of like their offering. Even though I haven't got kids, they've got great kids clubs. So the kids that are on there, you don't really see very much, which even the parents of those kids seem to like. And it's got the Broadway or West End musical We Will Rock You on board, which is good. I like that. It's, rather than sort of a what do they call it, a production show, it is a proper sort of West End show. The rights and everything. And to build the theatre according to Brian May's stipulations, apparently.
Oh, right.
Quite interesting.
Oh, so it's been specifically designed for that performance?
Yes. Yeah, because it's one of the things of We Will Rock You is you must have the band on display at all times. So they had to build certain cubbies and things to be able to put the band on display, which was quite an interesting thing I learnt last time I went on board. So
yeah, that's unusual, isn't it? Because normally they're fairly, generic, like a typical.
Yeah, because of the the nature of it, I suppose. Queen being a rock band, and it's all about Queen. Yeah, it's quite interesting to learn that. And she's got bumper cars on board. The North Star, which is the observation pod thing that goes up in the air.
That's right. Did you try that?
I did a couple of times. It'll when you're in port, it kind of goes vertically up.
Yeah.
And then it will turn slightly. It'll pivot on the axis at the top. But when you're out at sea, it actually goes out over the side of the ship.
Right.
Literally sort of 90 degrees out. That's quite a surreal experience looking back at the ship you're sailing on.
Do you get to control that yourself? Or?
No, there's a person that does that. There's somebody at the bottom, and then somebody goes in the capsule with you. It holds about 15 people, from what I remember. The person. I mean, it's all automated. He just pushes the button to go up and then go out the side, and the one in the port's free, but then they charge a little extra premium to do the longer one when you're out at sea. and it goes
right.
out.
Oh, I was just about to ask. So if you're in port, it's free of charge.
Yep.
Ah,
That's it. And it goes out at sea. It goes out over one side, then it goes right up vertically above the ship, and then it goes out over the other side, and then back down. So it takes a little bit longer, but yeah, it's quite an experience. You can get some amazing pictures from it as well. The weather's right. Really good.
yeah. So it's an issue with the weather, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, in port again, it's quite interesting. Even in Southampton, to be looking over from the height of the cruise ship already, from deck 16 or whatever deck it's on, I can't remember exactly, but to be looking from that extra height above the ship as well, it's it's quite impressive.
Yes, I would say that when I've been in the port and seen the capsule up, it is significantly the tallest thing in the port by miles. So yeah, the view from it must be fantastic.
Yeah, and they've got the surf simulator as well, and the skydiving simulator as well on there. I think you caught it on somebody in there actually on one of the last.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it's
amazing.
First time I've had someone streaming, someone surfing on the camera.
Yep, surfing and in the tube behind that.
Yeah, that's right, the skydiving tube. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite amazing. It's just, they tend to think of what they're going to put on their ships next. Royal Caribbean are quite one for doing that. There's, everything has to be bigger and better. Being American based.
Shipmate New School 100 says that it's about Paul talking about the kids' clubs on Arvia. Parents are finding the clubs are full and they're unable to get places. Have you had any feedback on that?
I have heard that. Yeah, I have heard that. I think it's possibly down to the amount of crew that they did have and then don't necessarily have now. From what I heard, sort of off on the grapevine. But hopefully they'll get it back up to standard, and then but I think it's one of those things you need to go and do straight away. It's one of the things I'd sort of advise people with families. There's certain things, if you leave it, you're not necessarily going to get the availability. So they won't necessarily tell you that. P&O wouldn't if you book direct, but if you book through someone like myself, it's one of the little things that I try and point out, that you need to be on the ball with that and get yourself in there before it fills up.
So can you book the kids' clubs before you get on board?
Again, depends which line, but I don't think a lot of them do.
Okay. So that's.
But yeah, it's one of those sort of check yourself in, get on board, and make a beeline.
Yeah. Okay.
And get on the case. And again, even if you can book beforehand, it's a case of knowing as soon as those open for availability. Like some of them are 21 days before sailing, things like that. Again, it's a case of knowing when they open to get straight online and book it in, or get your travel agent to for you. But yeah, same with anything that's limited availability, because they're free. It's, people will want to put. I mean, they're great when you can book them as well. But yeah, it is, unfortunately, I have heard that on some of the P&O ships.
Okay, well, that's good information. I certainly got caught out with not being able to book any of the specialty restaurants.
Yep.
For something similar. Even though you told me that I should book in advance.
I'm saying nothing. Some of them, I mean, you can turn up as well, and they'll it might look fully booked, but you can turn up and say, well, can you put us in? And they go, yeah, no problem at all, we've got no one in. So I think sometimes it's a technology issue, or you get a load of cancellations as well. People book everything up and then cancel at the last minute. So yeah, it can be worth just turning up there.
That's a good point. Well, we did actually go up to the Epicurean on Iona and ask them there, and they actually did say something similar. I was sort of asking a few questions, but I wouldn't have thought that. So I would have just thought it'd been booked out for the week. Yeah,
because people, they might all book it from home, but when they get back on board, they go, oh well, actually this is happening this night, or that's happening. So, or it's Janice's birthday on whatever day, so let's actually do it then. And or people don't show up as well, again, because there's no real commitment. So yeah, it's definitely worth trying your luck.
Excellent. Would you like to remind people, Paul, how they can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. lovecruise.co.uk/Solent Ships is the website. But I'm like to think I'm very responsive via Facebook and things as well. So if you go to facebook.co.uk or facebook.com, whichever it is, and just search for lovecruise.co.uk on there, I can answer your questions via Messenger and things like that. If you've got any questions, or of course you can even talk to me on the phone. All the details are on the website and things as well. So yes, if you've got some advice that you need, or queries, or just first time things, by all means. If you're not sure, if it's something you're thinking about, be happy to help you out, try and guide you in the right direction. There's lots of different cruises for lots of different people, I would say.
There we go. He certainly helped me a lot.
Oh, do try. Even the things that you ignored completely.
Even the things I ignored completely, yes.
No, at the end of the day, you're on your holidays and you do as you choose. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's just have to learn a little bit by doing something, and then think, oh, actually, I'll try something different and take some advice. You might not know what questions to ask if you've never been before.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can over-egg it by sort of, over-analysing it beforehand. Sometimes it is nice to just go and do your thing, just because everything's there for you. It's all signposted, and there's plenty of things on apps and things that they have for you now. So, and you get your daily program and things. So if you like to just do things when they suit you, then great. It's just the important bits, like we were talking about booking the kids clubs and things like that, and specialty restaurants. Those are the most important things. If you think you might want to do them or use them, then that's the most important thing to book in advance.
Yes.
You have got the option.
Yeah, I think that's probably the important takeaway from that, isn't it? Great. Well, thanks for joining us, Paul.
Very welcome. Thank you for having me again. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the hard work you do for the channel as well.
I think I'm probably going to wind up here because we're fast approaching my personal galley time.
Same.
And that's been the last ship. I can't tell you when the next broadcast will be, shipmates. I'll try and give you some notice. But probably the best way to be informed is to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And then every time I go live, you'll be pinged with a notification. More likely to be at the weekends because there's more movements. This weekend looks quite promising if I can fit it in with the horse racing, but I can't guarantee that. Probably problematic. I'd like to thank you all the subscribers, the PayPal donators, Patreons, and of course the members of the channel, and the Blue Spanner crew, who, as you see, are in the chat answering your questions that I don't see or forget to ask, not only in this live stream but also in all the other live streaming cameras. With that, shipmates, I shall continue to follow my own Arvia. Get it one day. I'll keep follow Arvia down Southampton Water until she goes around Cowshot, and we ended there. But till next time, shipmates.